Welcome to the PopCast, where it's all about
Fingerboarding.
Hallo Fingerbrettlerin, this is Ollie.
And this is Tom.
And thank you for listening to our second episode.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you also for all your positive feedback, your comments, and offering help. And yeah, we were pretty stoked and didn't expect it that good. And yeah, thanks so much.
Also, thank you for all the constructive criticism. It is really helpful. One of them was working on the sound. As you hopefully hear, we're working on the sound. And also you asked if these episodes will be on other platforms other than YouTube. And yes, they will be. We'll work on that. And hopefully soon you can listen to the podcast also on platforms like Spotify or Apple Music.
Yeah, in this episode we start with a new category, which we call Follow-Up, where we give you information that we didn't have when we recorded our prior episodes. And I'm going to start this by mentioning that we looked up the other videos that Nash from Sorry did with the barracks. And as he said, there are 2 more videos which we didn't watch yet. There is the ninja training, which we already mentioned, and which is really like 2 skaters competing on a long curb, like I said in the previous episode. And there's another video giving more background information about the first video they did, where the barracks guys interviewed Nash and asked more questions about how the first video came about.
Yeah.
So we recommend you watching this too if you want to know more about that.
Definitely, look it up. I start my follow-up notes with a general apology. I said in the last episode several times that I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. This, unfortunately, can't be fixed. I don't know how to pronounce all the fingerboarders' names in the world, so I'm sending out one general apology right now. If I'm saying your name wrong, I'm very sorry, and that's the last time I'm going to mention that. But that's my general apology. Also, by now, talking about videos, the flat-face trailer came out 26th of May. So depending on when you hear that, you can either watch the trailer or the full-length video, or both. Because in the episode, Mike wasn't sure if it's going to be released at 1st of June. Now he confirmed it with the trailer that came out 26th of May. So check the trailer, check the video.
And speaking of flat face, the second topic I want to mention, the second follow-up I want to mention is Daniel Aldoshin, who we didn't know exactly he's writing for, but we also looked that up and surprise, surprise, he's writing for Flatface, and yeah, he will also be in the new video.
And the last follow-up notes are about our story quiz. First of all, we said we got inspired by another podcast, and I think it's only fair to mention it. It was Die wundersame Rapwoche mit Mauli und Steiger. Sorry for all English-speaking people. It's a German podcast about German rap. And in the Insta story, it was George Goldes who announced his welcome clip for King Color fingerboards. I didn't know the brand last time around. King Color fingerboards is a fingerboard brand from Barcelona, and they immediately released something like a pro model for him. So it's not just he's welcome on the team, he immediately gets something like a pro model, or at least a board fully designed by him.
Yeah, and that's it for the follow-up. And let's start right away with the news. And the first news we're going to talk about is a new video which was announced on Instagram and which is kind of special because it will only be female riders.
Yeah, an all-women fingerboard edit coming out on 10th of June. It's going to be a video-heavy episode anyway, you'll hear later. Yeah, it's made by Annie Yan from Hong Kong. It also says US and London in her Instagram profile, but I think she's from Hong Kong. And you may know her already. She's an active YouTuber. She's doing YouTube videos for 6 years now, trick videos, unboxings, reviews, and other formats as well.
Yeah, and because we had some questions about the video, we contacted her and she was kind enough to answer us. And the first question we had was, why don't you tell us what Femblance is in your own words?
If I had to describe Femblance in my own words, I'd say it's the unity of women in fingerboarding on a global scale. it sounds kind of pretentious, but that's basically what it is. There's so many different women around the world who are part of this edit. And the title Femblance is actually a combination of the word semblance, which means like similarity or having something in common, and the word female or feminine. Kelsey Fingerboards actually came up with that name. We were browsing for a name for a really long time. Like, we have this woman in FB chat, which is specifically created for this edit, and we were browsing names, and it was so difficult to come to one that we all agreed with. We had things that were like Unity or something like that, but I was talking to Kelsey privately, and somehow we came up with this name. I think we were looking on a thesaurus for synonyms for unity or community, something like that, and that's pretty much how we came up with it. So I think unity of women in fingerboarding is pretty much a great way to describe it.
Thank you, Annie, for all your statements in general. It sounds very interesting, especially how you came up with the name. But we also wanted to know, how and when did you come up with the idea itself?
So I brought this group together back in November. That was when I started pitching the idea to a bunch of people. But I've had this idea for a while now, maybe a year and a half. And as I'm sure you're aware, the fingerboarding community is mostly male, but there are a lot of women too, and I wanted to showcase that. Most people, I think, know the bigger names like Kelsey, Mallory, Kata, Savannah, or, Sitting Duck 422. But there are so many more women that actually I didn't even know about until I started making this edit. Another thing is, regardless of what type of society or community you're in, for some reason, people like to compare us. Like, they like to compare women, and fingerboarding is no exception. Most recently, I had been getting messages from people comparing me to Kelsey just because we are two people who make fingerboard content on YouTube, and we just so happen to both be women. It's really dumb to do that, I think, because you wouldn't compare two guys like that. And Kelsey and I are friends too, so it was weird to see that. The thing is, I'm sure a lot of women in fingerboarding get that too. So this edit is a way for all of us to say as a collective, look, we're just a bunch of people who love one particular activity or hobby, and it's not a competition about who is the best female fingerboarder. We're just out here to have fun. So I figured this project would be the best way to represent all of us as women coming together to support one another within the fingerboard community.
What a great statement, and maybe something for some people to think about. Another question we had was, who will be in it?
The full list of people who are going to be in the edit is going to be revealed in the trailer that I'm releasing next week. So I'm releasing that next Tuesday. For now, I'm going to keep most of it secret, but the few people who I've already mentioned are Kelsey Barker, also known as Kelsey Fingerboards, Savannah Simpson, Kata, who owns FBS, and Mallory Curtis. I'd probably say that any girl fingerboarder you can think of is probably in it. I obviously couldn't get every single one. It was difficult as it was to get this amount of people in it. There's 18 people total in the edit, including myself, and any more than that, I think we would have gone over capacity.
Sick. Even though she didn't tell us the full list, such a shame, we were hoping for exclusive content. No, but even though she doesn't mention all the 18 writers, I think we both agree, Tom, that we're really looking forward to that edit. And I'm really excited to see who's in it.
Yeah, I'm quite curious. That's true.
Yeah, definitely check the trailer next week or this week, depending on when you're listening to this. But we didn't stop there to annoy Annie with our questions. And even though we don't know the full list of the writers, we asked, how did you choose these 18 females?
So like I said, I started reaching out to people in November, and at the time I was still at university, and I was a film production major, so I already had a lot of stuff I needed to edit and do pre-production for. Like, for example, I was in pre-production for my thesis film, so it was pretty impossible for me to edit every single person's parts. There was also technically a deadline for parts to be in. I just wanted to have that there so everyone could ballpark like when they needed to have clips. But first of all, I made it really clear that I wouldn't be able to get my hands on the edit until March because I was filming my thesis. But then secondly, a lot of people were actually really busy between November and March, April, or May, like literally this month. And I'd say the aim for this edit was just to include as many people as possible. So we all agreed we could wait a little longer to release and include all the people who would be able to film later, which is why it's only coming out now and not earlier. But essentially, I had people send in fully edited parts with music, or they could send edited parts without music or even just clips. If I were editing it together now, I definitely would just have everyone send in clips rather than full edited parts, just because I have more time and I think the whole edit would look more unified. But all the individual parts have been put together in the larger edit, and it actually still looks really, really nice. So yeah, I really can't take credit for being the head editor per se, because most people actually edited their own parts, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I organized it.
Yeah, what a great way to do this. And we were also curious how she managed the whole project itself in terms of getting parts and editing and music choice and stuff like that.
So it was actually really difficult for me to figure out how I should choose the writers, but I basically just started with the people who I knew followed me back on Instagram because, you know, the chances of my message landing in their inbox were higher. And then from there on, those people suggested others, and eventually we just ended up with 18 people. I think we kept it pretty close to friends or like friends of friends. Mallory actually even tried to get Marie, or Girl in Red. Like, if you don't know who she is, she's a singer, but she was obviously too busy with tour to get a part in.
Sick to hear. Seems like a lot of work got into it. I mean, everyone who did a video, mostly you, Tom, you would know that it is a lot of work even to produce a small clip. Yeah. Not speaking of a full-length 18 people edit. Yeah, so thank you, Annie. Thank you for being in the show. When we talked on WhatsApp, she called it like fake calling in because she recorded the things in advance. So that was the fake call in from Annie, and we give her the last words before we move on to the next topic.
I guess I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who participated in the edit. There are actually also some people who wanted to be in the edit but didn't have time to film. Also, thank you to everyone who has already supported this edit before it's even come out. It's pretty crazy already. If you want to keep updated, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I hate to do the plug, but, you know, like, just to keep people informed, it's at annieandfb.mov. And yeah, the trailer will be coming out next Tuesday, so be on a lookout for that. And thank you for having me on the podcast. It's such an honor.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you for being on the show. It's a huge honor. And also, we're constantly referring to the trailer coming out next Tuesday. As we're not sure when you're listening to our podcast, that's the 2nd of June. Trailer is coming out 2nd of June. And now we move on to news topic number 2, which is, Tom?
Which is another video, which is called Big Heart, a lockdown montage. Or as it says in the YouTube video description, a UK lockdown fingerboarding montage.
Yeah, it's a edit by a lot of UK OGs, I would say. A lot of people who have been around for a long time. It was released on 22nd of May on YouTube, and here's the writers list. I hope you know many of the names. It's Tom McAnally, Simon Cartledge, aka Cartwheels, Alex Buffet, Danny H, Eddie Sharples, Ewan Lynn, Harry Yeates himself, he's the man behind the video, Callum Smethurst, Pete Bergen, you may know him from the Norwood Project, he's the man behind it, Xi Jin, Tom C, Jack Lilly, and Sam Jamil.
Yeah, we also had the opportunity to ask the creator of the video, Harry Yeates, some questions. And the first one was when and how he came up with the idea.
Thank you so much. Well, a few weeks ago, I was added to a group chat by Alex, who actually appears in the video. He was trying to gather together a bunch of old friends and faces from the UK scene to arrange a meet-up after the lockdown season is over, whenever that may be. I started talking to these old friends again, and sure enough, the next day I was looking under my old bed to find whatever remained of my fingerboarding collection from years ago. I actually stopped fingerboarding around 2013, 2014, but I guess I can blame Alex and the lockdown for making me get back into it again. And well, the day after I found my old setup, I started filming again. And filming again led to editing again. And then after chatting with the old friends for a while, I felt I really wanted to do some sort of comeback video involving everyone in the group. And that was it, really. The idea was born.
That's so cool to hear how the lockdown is bringing people together again and people come back and getting back on their fingerboard.
Yeah, definitely. He says it in the statement himself. It feels like a comeback video, and I think for a lot of the names it does, not just him. I also felt Sam Jamil was gone for a while. I saw Tom McInally getting more active on Instagram these days. What do you think? Which part were you looking forward to when you read about it first?
I was curious how Pete Bergen.
Pete is doing? Yeah.
Exactly. I've seen some clips of him in the last years. I'm following him all the time, but seeing how he does the full part and what he's gonna do is kind of interesting.
Yeah, cool. So we talked about the names already, and that's also our next question to Harry. It's how did you choose the writers for it?
Well, choosing the writers was simple. Everyone that appears in the video are friends of mine. Some since the earliest days of me fingerboarding. It felt great reconnecting with everyone again after so many years, and I just couldn't resist collaborating with them all again. So it was an easy choice.
I think it's funny that a lockdown where you think it would separate people instead brings people together again. In this case over fingerboarding, which is great, of course. Apart from that, I also loved the editing of the video. Tom, how did you see that?
Yeah, it was kind of different, and I really liked it. I always like when people come up with new ideas for editing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you probably haven't seen it yet, or maybe haven't seen it yet, it's edited together like with a music video. There's some music parts in it, and I think the special thing about the video is that it was not separate parts sent in from the writers, but it seems like the tricks were sent in singly, and Harry really gave them a good mix. So my question to him was if he did all the editing by himself, and if he had up front the idea and told the writers to send in the tricks singly, or if it was spontaneous once he had seen all the footage.
Thank you for being so kind about the editing. I haven't done this in many years, and I even had to teach myself a new editing program. It was like learning on the job. I originally didn't have much of a plan to begin with. I'd asked if people would be interested in putting together a montage, and then when everyone was up for it, I asked people to start filming. And then someone in the group chat said they wanted me to be more specific. So I said, okay, aim for 6 clips each and I'll handle the editing. And after that, it was quite quick that I'd decided on a song, and ultimately the idea of quick cuts as opposed to segmented parts. I felt it would just match the rhythm of the music. And I'd also had the idea to include the footage of the band performing the song that I'd found in an old concert film. And I felt if each writer had a separate part, I felt that the cutaways to the band's performance would be distracting or out of place. And so that was the idea of doing the quick cuts instead. And yes, I did all the editing. Somehow. The video came out on a Friday, and I'd received the last rider's part on the Thursday, the day before. So because of the nature of how I'd planned the editing, that meant I had to put the whole video together in one night. That Thursday night. True story. I don't know how I did it. I had to go to work in the next morning.
Wow. Yeah. I think a everybody who edited a video before a bigger one. Like no one of them knows how you did it.
Big respect from our side, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a last question, which was how he managed the whole project aside from the editing.
Not very well. Well, trying to arrange something that involves 13 people is not an easy task, but luckily technology is pretty amazing, and the whole process was, for the most part, relatively smooth. I initially didn't set a deadline for parts and just told people to send me their clips whenever they had the time. But as more and more clips were coming in, I got more and more excited and really wanted to get on with the edit. I eventually did set a deadline and started to compile the clips together as they came in. One thing I did, which really helped me out a whole bunch, was to pre-edit the clips as I received them. And what I mean by that is, if a rider sent their part, I would edit it into separate clips, if it wasn't separate already, and then I would slow motion and edit parts as I received them. That way, when it came to piecing together the whole video, all I had to do was drag and drop the clips and make sure everything was timed well enough. I had a lot of fun making the video, and the community's response has been really, really kind. I'm just so happy to be a part of this community once again. I might do another project like this in the future, just maybe not with 13 people. We'll see.
Harry, thank you so much for these funny answers and your answers in general. Mate, it's good to have you back in the scene, and I feel the same with a few other people in the montage. Sam Jamil as an example. Not to single one out, but I'm also happy to see you fingerboard again. Him and me were in contact anyway, but it's good to sort of see that edit. Good to see you people back. Cool. And should we go on to our next news topic right away, which is video related, of course.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Tom, what is it about?
It is about Finger Skateboard Cinema, which is a relatively new account on Instagram, which we discovered, and which is made by a friend of ours, whose name is Florian Kitzmüller. He's from Austria, and we know him from contests and from his sick video edits, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he does, for a long time now, he does fingerboard and skateboard videos under his production company, which is called Rolled in Motions. I think it's his actual job, right? He does productions for companies, marketing, photo, video productions. But of course, he also did a lot of sick fingerboard edits. And this Fingerboard Gold, as I would name it, he's now uploading on his Insta account the full-length videos. As an example, recently he uploaded the whole United Fingerboarding video in single parts. But if you haven't seen it yet, watch it. It's a sick Fabian Schreiter part in it. There's a super sick Gene Zenges part in it. But he also uploaded a lot of other videos that he did over the years.
Yeah, and his quality was always top notch, I think, and his filming is pretty good. So it's quite a treat to watch, I think.
Yeah, I thought it's quite funny when you sent me the news and showed me that he is back. That was shortly after we recorded the last episode where we talked about another Austrian rider,
whose name is Fabian Kronsteiner, as you may remember.
Yes, and I also saw another Insta account. It's called domas.finger.skate, which is Thomas Schwarz, who's also from Austria, and he's also good in making fingerboard videos. Next to a lot of other videos, he, as an example, edited the video for the Black River Denmark tour back in 2012, I think, with Timo Kranz, Gene Zenges, Markus Schmiedinger, and himself.
Yeah, but let's go back to Flo and Fingerboard Cinema, who answered some questions for us. And he answered all the questions in one go, so we're gonna not cut this statement, just let it be like this. but I'm gonna let you know the questions I asked him up front. And the first question I asked him was how the idea came about and why he's doing it right now. And the second question was from which period of time and which locations are the videos. And he also gave us some background information how he got into filming and stuff, which we are thankful for and gonna play for you now.
I started fingerboarding back in the day around 2001 when Emil, the guy who was working in our local skate shop, introduced me into tech and all the other stuff for fingerboarding. During this time I was already filming with our local skaters and taking pictures with them. Emil decided to make his own fingerboard distribution for Austria, and he asked me to do the media for him, to make some videos with the team riders or even catalogs or printings. And then I decided to make the Finger Skateboard Cinema. And Finger Skateboard Cinema during this time, it was mainly doing some low budget productions and doing some media on events like Fast Fingers. And over the years it got more and more. I got into relation with all the guys from the European scene, even from fingerboarders from the US. And on the events I filmed tricks with all the riders, and after the events I did the edits and published them on the internet. During this time YouTube was pretty famous, and it kept going till the year around 2014. The reason why I do it now, I did a lot of videos between the time of 2007 and 2012. 2012 was for me a personal big year because I published the United Fingerboarding full-length DVD in Berlin on the after party at the Battle of the Herricks. And after that, all my collected footage was used in this project, and I thought about other projects, and I created the Cinema Plaza thing, where I filmed 4 parts on it, and after that I sold the park. That was the last project I filmed with fingerboarding before I went to study for video technology. That was mainly the reason why I did a break on making fingerboard videos. I went to university, and after that I founded my own company, and now 3 years after I founded my own company, I found time again to think about fingerboarding projects, and the crew in Austria is still existing. It's smaller than in the years before when we had the fingerboard distribution, but it's still existing, and I'm in contact with the riders from the old days. And we are already thinking about new projects, and I think Instagram is a great channel to interact with the community, because you can do live fingerboarding sessions with guys from all around the world or play a game of skate. And Instagram is, for me, I think the best platform, social media platform, to make the classics, to place all the old classic videos up there, and even showing new content and stay interactive with the community. I think I like the new technologies behind video, because I came from the early days of skateboarding. Like, I started skateboarding in 1999. It wasn't the early days, but for me it was like the big thing was the VHS tapes of companies and the DVDs, and you invest, or you spend a lot of time producing a full-length video, and the crowd is already waiting for months till it gets released. And nowadays everything is pretty fast and everything changed. So I think Instagram, this is for me the communication tool I will use for fingerboarding for the next years, and in combination with the classic ones like YouTube or Vimeo to show high quality videos also.
It's so great to hear that the Austrian scene, at least a part of it, still exists. And funny fact is that the day I contacted Flo for the interview questions, he was actually meeting up with three other guys from the Austrian scene. It was Markus Schmiedinger, Thomas Schwarz.
Yeah,
who
and
else?
Fabian Kohlschneider. But it's sick because it's the same as the UK video. The lockdown, which was supposed to keep people apart, actually brought them back together. Yeah.
It's a funny one. Yeah, thanks so much, Flo.
Thank you.
Quite interesting, but we're going to move on to our next news topic.
And that is our main topic for this episode, which is the Battle of the Gram number 2. We're in the middle of it, actually. Right now, we are somewhere between round of last 16 and quarterfinals. So, when we're recording, today is the Battle of Sandro Seidel, who's actually one of Tom's team riders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into this a little further with statements later, but first I'll tell you a little bit about it. The Battle of the Gram is an online contest similar to the Battle at the Herricks, apart from the riders, of course, playing a game of skate, not in person, but via Insta live streams. There was a first part already, as you guessed, with the name Battle of the Gram 2, which was organized by Stolli and Nico Frank. While in the second part, Nico Frank didn't have too much time. You'll hear that in his statement later, and he was replaced by Hennemann. The first part was announced at the 26th of March at the ASI Berlin shop Instagram. So therefore, we assume Timo Kranz is behind it, or at least involved. He'll also be in one of our statements, and he already was the man behind the Battle at the Herricks. For all of you who don't know it, which was a big fingerboard event in Berlin that he organized together with
Harry Schön.
Yeah, with Harald Schön, right, because it's the Battle at the Herricks. Harry brought everything to the fingerboard scene that is related to the Herricks, which just started at his home, I think. Yeah,
I think so too, yeah.
At his home.
Yeah.
Based on the barracks, which we talked about last episode. Yeah. The first part, by the way, was won by Guglielmo Chaser, aka Mr. Bolly Trucks, in an epic battle with Mike Schneider.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the 18th of April.
Okay.
Yeah. And now, 16th of May, second round was announced, and as we just said, is already full on going.
Yeah, and as usual, we get statements from all the people behind it. First of all, we want to play Stolli's statement for you, who I asked why it happened so fast with the second round.
Yeah, not even a month after the last one was finished. Sick.
Yeah. And yeah, you can hear his answer.
Yeah, we decided to do the second round of the Battle of the Gram now, because we just think this we have still this global situation, and so many people can't do their work like they want, or can do their other leisure time activities like they want, and we just want to give the people in the scene something back, that they have also something where they can put their passion and just distract a bit from the other shit what's going on, you know. And yeah, I think this is just the reason why we do the Battle of the Gram round 2 now, because we think now it's the best time for this.
Yeah, thank you, Stolli. Of course, it's a perfect timing, as we see by all the video output, writers coming back, and so on. And as we said earlier, in the second round, in organizational terms, Nico Frank was replaced by Hennemann. And we also asked him, how did he come to be part of the organizational team? And here is what he said.
So the point is, like, I was a participant at the first Battle of the Cram, and after this contest took really well, and I saw how the organization worked, because most of the stuff were organized from the SE Berlin shop in Berlin, and I'm also local at the moment in Berlin, so I saw how it all worked, and all the people kind of loved this contest because of the pandemic. Everybody was at home, wanted something to do. Many people came back to fingerboarding in this time. So I think it was a cool opportunity to give back something to the scene in this quite special time, to say it in a positive way, because I think that all this pandemic get more people back into fingerboarding. That's one positive thing. And yeah, the contest were really well, and after it was over, Timo told me, like, yeah, maybe we should do that again. And also Stolli talked to Timo, and then Timo asked me, so because Nico was out, Nico was one of the organizers too at the first battle, and so Timo asked me if I want to do that, and because I'm actually a student and my university is kind of closed at the moment, and I don't have to work in the workshop, so I have quite some time, and I thought I would like to organize with you and help you out in this time with the contest. So that's how I get to, and it's also why I get to that.
Thank you, Hennemann. It's funny to see, again, the pandemic stopped him from doing university and work, and therefore he had time to take part in the organization. And so as you can imagine, the Battle of the Gram is a bit bigger. There's 2 parts already than just the news. So
we included them also in our next category, which we also had last time, which is called Listener Behind the Scenes.
Yeah, and we got statements here from Nico Frank, Stolli again, Hennemann again, and of course Timo Kranz, who needs to be in there as well. First of all, we're gonna have a statement from Nico Frank, because for me, as I saw the history of the Battle of the Gram, is I went online on Instagram one day and I saw Nico Frank doing a live stream. That was for me one of the first fingerboard live streams, and I just clicked in there, curious what it was. And I saw he was doing Game of Skates with kids at random, it seemed. So it seemed like whoever requested to be in a live stream, he accepted and did a battle with them until one kid then won against him and he was super hyped. I don't know, did you see that, Tom?
Not the exact battle where the kid won, but yeah, I've seen some of them and also noticed it. And yeah, so we've been asking ourselves, was that the beginning? Was it like when the idea came to him? And
yeah, did the idea come to him then, or was that already a test and he had the idea earlier?
Yeah, exactly.
So we asked him, and here's his statement.
So, yeah, Battle of the Gram. Maybe I will tell a bit more about that. So, first off, we had this idea of doing like an online tournament way before we started Battle of the Gram. I think it's already half a year ago. We even generated or started like an account which is called Online Fingerboard Championships, I think, on Instagram, the OFC. And there is the homie from New York. He's living in New York at the moment. His name is Mauro. Maybe some of you guys know him. And he's actually still working on a project where we have an actual website where people can log in with their Instagram account and sponsors can log in as like a company and then put their team riders with an actual scoring system and live streams on Twitch and YouTube and all that. So that might work out at some point. And Battle of the Gram, like the actual thing that now happened, the first version, the test pretty much, where we really invited 32 people from 16 different countries. That thing was more or less Stolly's idea, because he was like, hey, we could now, in the times we're just living, kind of get the scene more together and start something online. And then he was like, dude, you're always doing these Game of Skates online and Instagram, and you're playing a lot of people. And then we maybe just thought about how everything went down, put like 32 people on a list, like more or less randomly. We for sure tried to get different countries in there, and also girls for sure. And we tried to kind of make everyone happy, which unfortunately was not possible. So there was still like a lot of people, why didn't you choose this guy, and why is this guy not in there? And then we kind of needed to explain that all of this is pretty much just a test if it's actually working out. And so the first Battle of the Gram was the actual test and like not my live stream stuff. So that's probably the first thing to say. And then we pretty much just invited all these people into a huge Instagram group, and I told all of them to just not text in there and just listen to what we were saying. And then we had this timetable, and all the people figured out times on their own, told them us, we put them into the list and did all the brackets, and then just went for it, and it worked out pretty well. It's quite a lot of communication that needs to happen though, so there's probably an easier way to do it, but that was kind of the start. And I mean, the basic idea of doing it on Instagram and like the proof that it works was kind of that I was doing it all the time or other people were doing it all the time. But yeah, I think the main thing why everything went down now was Stolly. And then since Stolly was having the idea of doing it, getting all these people together, we too decided that we need to connect with Timo so everything can kind of run via the Aussie Berlin shop, because we knew that since Timo needs to close the shop, that it's kind of difficult. He always had like a little bit of difficulties running the shop. I mean, most of the people listening here are probably aware of the fact that there was a crowdfunding campaign or like this Patreon thing. You guys need to get or be a patron of Aussie Berlin shop, by the way. I'm also paying like $5 a month, I think, to the Aussie Berlin shop, so this thing can keep going and kind of try to support it. But that was the background idea, that we can get all the exposure that is happening through this event online on the Aussie Berlin shop, so all the brackets are on there and everything. And so yeah, we pretty much had like a video conference every day, like Stolly, Timo and me, and we thought how we can handle this and how we can do it for the scene, and pretty much just went for it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, for the riders themselves, like the participants in the first one, I don't really know how it's going now in the second one. I'm not involved into this one anymore because I'm quite busy with my business at the moment. But interesting fact about the first one was that since we had, like I said, 16 different countries involved in this game, and like a lot of people with huge exposure to, and yeah, just all different kinds of people in there from all over the place that also didn't really knew each other before. It was pretty sick to see like how it's going down in the live stream, like, because the live streams at some points were the moments where those people talk to each other for the first time in their life. Like, we got to know each other in a way that probably would have been just possible when we would have been seeing each other at an event or something. So that was pretty crazy. I started talking with a lot of people I never talked before, having chats. I was actually having like hours of voice messages. I sent it to like Mike too. That was pretty crazy. We talked about so much stuff just because we started talking about the event, and then went from this topic to that topic and like all sorts of things. And it was just nice to get connected, bring the scene together, and especially for the participants, it was pretty crazy knowing that we're pretty much sitting on a different side of our planet and just talk about fingerboarding and all that kind of stuff. And pretty interesting experience. And I hope also that it connected on the scene on a level beyond like the participants itself. And so I think that's pretty much it. That's all I can say to this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. For sure, always down to support you guys in what you do here. And see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, there you heard it, how the idea actually came to life. And it's kind of funny that he says the Battle of the Gram 1 was a test.
Yeah, for a test it went pretty well, I think.
It went pretty well, definitely. And as you heard, he got in contact with Timo Kranz after he organized the stuff with Stolli. And of course, we don't want to talk about someone without them having their say as well. So we asked Timo to be in the show as well. And our question to Timo was, when did you hear the first time of the battle, and how are you actually involved in it?
Hello, and thank you very much for the invitation. Really appreciate that. I guess I heard first from Battle of the Cram in mid-March or something, when the people were hit by the Corona regulations the first time. It was Stolli and mainly Nico Frank who came up with the idea to organize something for the people, like an online event, and because the people had to be forced to stay in their houses because of the quarantine regulations. And they came up with the idea of the Battle and the Cram. And I think maybe Nico had this in mind for a little longer. And it should be based on Battle at the Herrigs, the contest we did back in the day. And this was the reason they reached out to me to get me involved. And also because they knew that the shop, the RC Berlin shop, is suffering at the moment because of the regulations, and no people can travel, and we have to close down the doors and see what happens. And they mentioned to have a good promotion for the shop we're doing the event and this online contest. And this was the main reason, to give the shop, the RC Berlin shop, some kind of promotion, and to do something for the people fingerboard-wise, who have forced to stay at home because of the COVID-19 regulations. I think this was the main curse. And this all happened pretty fast. I think the first time I heard of it was middle March, and end of March we were already fixed with a WhatsApp group and sending chats to each other, and organizing the battle, and it went good. And now we are already in the second round.
Thank you, Timo, for that statement. And it's great to hear that the battle helps to support the community on so many levels, that it helps the store to survive, the physical store. And
the community too,
and brings the community together. But that wouldn't be a listener behind the scenes if we would have stopped there.
We had more questions. Because we've seen him judging the main bit of the battles in the first round, we were asking ourselves how he find the time for that, and what were the main challenges like judging such an event.
They wanted me for the judging because of my experience, probably from Battle at the Herrings. I'm probably the guy who judged the most fingerboard game of skates in the entire world. I don't know, but could probably be. And maybe also because I'm a little bit more strict and I could be the guy to blame. I didn't care. Yes, and the thing is, but also I wanted to judge all the games, but I found out pretty fast because I have two little kids, 6 and 7, and sometimes I'm alone with them in the evenings, and I could not judge any battle when I'm alone with my kids. They need to sleep, and I need to switch on the phone pretty loud to hear everything, and we found out pretty fast that I could not judge any battles when I'm around with my kids. I tried this 2 times, and it was pretty stressing. So, but Nico and Stolli were really good judges as well, and I think they made a really good job. The main challenge while judging the battles was the time delay, because if you watch a live stream on Instagram and you comment, it's 30 seconds or 20 to 30 seconds delay until your comment shows up. And if one of the writers did something wrong and I have to complain, I wrote something, and because of the delay, they went further already, and it was a little bit complicated sometimes. And also because it was on a split screen, live stream, and I watched it on my phone, so everything was so super tiny and little, and people didn't stop commenting, and I have to watch the tricks of the second writer who was below through all the comments. It was sometimes pretty hectic, and I hope I did a good job, and I hope it was always fair. We had one experience with Mike. His quality was so bad that you even couldn't see his board, and so we have to really ask him for honesty, because otherwise it wouldn't work out. And there was one battle with Chris and Scott from Dynamics. They could not find a connection on Instagram, so we used a third provider, and Nico filmed it and put it on his stories or something like this. So yeah, but you can also say it went better from round to round. So the people who made it in the second round and in the third round, the battles were more clean. Not much things to complain because I went through it already. And yeah, I think that's it. That's the main challenging on doing an Instagram live chat judging thing.
Funny insights there, and sick to know. I don't know if you guys saw the first battle, but as Timo already said, Mike had a really bad quality for some reason, and you couldn't even see his board, so it was all in honesty. And funny note on the side, he solved that later on with then participating instead of with his own Insta account, with his girlfriend's Insta account, all the way to the final, as we learned.
Yeah, and then you've been finally able to see his board, not just a black block.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and Timo told us about some challenges organizing the whole thing, and we also asked Hennemann, who replaced Timo in this, who replaced
Nico
in the second round. What has been the challenges for him in judging and organizing the whole thing? And here's his answer.
So the main part of organization, like talk to the writers and do the stuff on Instagram at the moment, is like mostly the work of me and Stolli. So we give it up to Timo to judge most of it and take the responsibility for the contest. And we are more like the little helpers in the background, like talking to the people and get the stuff organized, because we kind of get some more free time at the moment than Timo. And yeah, we have, I think, from my opinion, a pretty good structure at the moment. Talk really well, be good, informed each other. And yeah, it worked out. There's some issues, like on every contest, more online than live contest. To get in contact with the people, get the people to read their DMs and be on time. That's one of the biggest problems. Like, we have to know the times for the battles mostly 24 hours before the battle, but on some battles that was kind of a problem, but we fixed that and we get everything right on time. We kind of pushed some pressure on the people who are a little back behind and don't answer them their DMs. But overall, it worked out. But we feel like on the first battle of the Gram, there was more people who watched the battles because more people were at home. So now for more people in different countries, there are less restrictions and they can go back to work. So that's maybe one of the reasons why not that much people watch the battles anymore. So I would like that more people watch the battles, but when there's no time and people have to work, and also we have the different time zones, that's also some problems we sometimes have, because there sometimes is a guy who's playing from Australia against a guy from America, and it's like a big time difference. It's hard to manage, but all this worked pretty good. And at the end, I'm really happy how this worked out at the moment. And I hope that we can do this kind of contest more often in different ways with different people. We will see. I hope so. Would be nice if that worked out.
Thank you, Hennemann, for the statement. Sorry, everyone, for the little sound disturbances in the statement, but I think the point came across very well, nevertheless. And as you already know, we also had Stolli on the phone, and we asked him what were his main challenges for organizing that event. And we don't want to spoil too much, but he gave us some exciting insight.
Yeah, we got exclusive news for you, but yeah, just listen for yourself.
To the organization of Battle of the Gram, it's in every round it was pretty fast. We just organized the whole event or managed the whole event like in 3 days, and this was really cool and really good to be so quick and just to communicate and just to work together and put everything in 3 days down. In the first round with Timo and Nico, and in the second round with Hennemann and Timo. That was really cool, but sometimes it's also a big problem to just do it in this short time, because we communicate or we write the riders we want in this event just per private message at Instagram, and not everybody is really looking every day to their private messages, and if they not following you or something, they don't see it directly. And this is a thing, or a bit like a little problem, because like, for example, TFB, he was also participate in the second round of our event or our contest, and he was also one we won in the round 1 of Battle of the Gram, but he was not writing us back in time or not reading our message in time, so he haven't the chance to participate in round 1. So we saved him a space for round 2 for sure, and he was in, I guess, and he not survived the first round, but probably another time. And also, maybe I can announce that we want to doing Battle of the Gram 3, and we want to do it like the best 16 people, all the survivors from round 1 in Battle of the Gram 1 will play against all the survivors, so the 16 best of Battle of the Gram round 2 in Battle of the Gram 3. But infos and informations and all the stuff coming later, I guess. First, we just want to see if everything is good with the actual round 2 of Battle of the Gram, and I'm really excited who will win this.
Yeah, awesome. I really love the idea of the battle number 3 competing the best ones from battle 1 and 2.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's such a great idea.
Definitely. Thank you, everyone. But as Stolli said, he's very excited to see who's going to win Battle of the Gram 2.
As we all are.
And so are we, right? And we asked the 4 people that we had, Nico, Timo, Hennemann and Stolli, who do you think is going to win Battle of the Gram 2? And here are the answers.
Tough question. I not really have a favorite, I guess, but I know some people a lot of years now, and I think the hardest thing also in this format and also in other contests are always to hold the nerves. You know, when you are too nervous, you are too shaky with your fingers, and you don't land a trick, or you flipped a bit wrong and stuff, and you overthink everything, every movement, and that's sometimes really the point. And I know some people like Sandro Seidel can really hold this and are really just can be cool and just relaxed in this competition stuff. Or it mostly sees for me like this. So probably some of the Russian guys, I guess, Vladimir or Dennis are really, really good. I think they have so hard skills and they are so technical and they are really like, I think they are hard ones, hard opponents. But Sandro Seidel is also one of the people I think they have the chance to win. But there are also some Insta fingerboarders I really not know that much before, but they also have really hard skills and riding so stylish. So it's really hard to say, but I think one of the Russian guys, Sandro Seidel, Leon Beffeld is also really stylish, but you have to hold the nerves. And also some people from US probably can win, but I'm really not sure who will win.
So one of my favorites is sadly he's out of the contest. I brought him in because I think he's gnarly, but he can't hold up in this battle. But it's another situation when you compete against someone else instead of just filming and chilling and relaxing and fingerboarding for yourself. That's the main difference. So my most favorite guy on this list, I have to say, was like James O'Neill. It's kind of sadly that he's out, but hey, that's the game. That's the game. From all the people that are still in, there are many favorites. There's not at least one person I want to stand out. I think there's people from Germany like Lukas Biesel and Leon Beffeld who are fucking awesome and really, really consistent. Even in the contest, they are pretty chilled in the contest, I think. I see that all the time. And also there's Alex Gazier. I saw his battle, and that battle was pretty awesome. I think he's pretty good with a gnarly style. But he has to compete against our most favorite German local, Berlin local, Nolly. And for kind of love, because he's a good friend of mine, that's the reason why I hope he is gonna compete against Alex Gazier, and maybe he's winning. That would be gnarly. That would be gnarly to see that. But overall, I think everybody who's in deserves to win if they have a good day. I mean, this kind of competition is not only about pure skill. There's so many different influences that came to these battles. So I hope the best will win. No, I will hope that the person with the most fun and it was pretty into and love that stuff gonna win, hopefully. Yeah.
My tip for the Battle of the Gram, number 2, and that is going to be probably At least I hope he's going to win. Fucking Leon Befeld from the Bondage Crew. The legend itself. A good friend of mine. Know this guy since like almost 10 years now, I think. And I really hope he's gonna win. There's a lot of super hardcore rippers in there too. Like Sandro Seidel has also big chances in my opinion. He's a ripper. And then Chris Petranek is one of my favorite fingerboarders actually. He has such a sick style. I haven't seen his battle, so I don't know how consistent he really is, but yeah, that would be sick seeing him to win. That would be really nice because he has a really realistic and nice style. Yeah, so far so good. I hope Leon is gonna win. Bondage Crew represent Schalke 04. That's all I can say.
Oh, who's gonna win Battle of the Gram number 2? That's a really good question. To be honest with you, I judged less battles of the first round than of the Battle of the Gram number 1, so I didn't see all the riders. But I judged and saw the 2 Russian battles, and these Pro B riders were totally crazy. There was no excuse at all. This was one of the shortest battle ever. And I think there was only one minimal mistake where he not landed on boats, but all the tricks were first try and super clean. And also when he has to repeat tricks, it was first try, bang. It was like the Russians going to war. So my bet is on one of the Russian guys.
So there you heard it, what the organizers think who's gonna win the second part. And we will let you know as soon as we know, so probably in the next episode. That's it for now with the listener behind the scenes, and we go into our next category, which is the story quiz.
Yeah, well, I hope you already know how it works. We explained it in the last episode. If you don't, go listen to the first episode again.
Yeah, it was my turn last week to describe a story, and Tom had to guess whose story it was, and now it's my turn, so let's see how good I'm at guessing fingerboard Instagram stories.
So I'm gonna explain it. Someone posted a picture in his story of him apparently sitting on, I guess it's a toilet, but
Okay.
you only see his naked upper body
Okay.
and his knees.
Okay.
And he's licking a rolling paper with cherries on it.
With cherries on it?
Yeah.
Like actual cherries on the rolling paper?
No, just printed cherries.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's rolling a cigarette on the toilet and posted that in his story.
Okay. I haven't seen it, so...
That's good.
Okay.
So was that a guy called Drake Elliott, who's the maker of eminent finger skateboards?
Yeah, and part of the Flatface team.
And part of the Flatface team.
Yeah.
Or was it B, Conrad by Conrad? I'm not sure if... I don't know. I couldn't find out his last name, but he's like a fashion designer now. And he has another Instagram account just for fingerboarding, which is called By Moist.
Ah, no, don't know that. Don't know him. Okay.
Okay. You gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Or is it C, another flat face rider we talked about? Daniel Aldoshin.
Okay. Damn it. I know after the last episode you sent me Daniel Aldoshin's account, and seeing it, everything seems possible. It also would seem like a move a fashion designer does, though. And Drake Elliott, I don't know, but yeah, I think my best guess is Daniel Aldoshin.
Damn, that was too easy. You got it right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes! I won. You all heard it. It's 1 point for me and 0 for Tom.
True.
So, after I won that round of the story quiz,
Damn.
we giving you the opportunity to win something as well. We have a giveaway in this episode.
And the giveaway is sponsored by Black River, who give you the chance to win a Mike Schneider signature ramp.
Yeah, and all you need to do is post a photo on Instagram, either in your story or on your normal feed, however you want it, of how you listen to our podcast, and link us, of course, so we see that picture, and then we'll do a raffle. We draw a name and announce it in the next episode. Who's the winner? Yeah, cool. So that's that about the giveaway. Thank you for listening so long to our voices and all the statements. And I would say we go straight on into our last category, which is the video of the episode. And my video of the episode this week is another YouTube video, just like last week. It's 50 fingerboarders, one montage by Chubbymuffin. I think I don't need to introduce Chubbymuffin. I think a lot of you know him already. And for this video, he organized a Discord montage with people mainly doing one trick only. So even though it's 50 fingerboarders, it's just 3 minutes long. So you don't need to be afraid to watch an hourly long video.
Okay.
And there is, to criticize it a little bit, there is bad filming in it as well, because some people just took their phone and it not always has the best quality, but it doesn't matter because there are some really badass moves and a lot of creativity in the montage. So check it out.
Yeah, sounds interesting. I will have to check it out too. And
you should.
Yeah, I will. And my video of the week is one from Florian Kitzmüller from Finger Skateboard Cinema, who did a welcome part when he got on Berlinwood in 2014 on the plaza he mentioned in his statement. And I really liked the way he edited it. And yeah, his fingerboarding is also very well done. But the editing makes it seem like it's all one continuous line through the park, which I really love. I also did that before and didn't know. Well, I wasn't sure he already did that before, but yeah, it's so nice to watch. I just love it.
Yeah, sweet. I like it a lot as well. And that's it for this episode. You all have a nice 2 weeks. And you
until we're back.
Yeah, see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening.
Fingerboarding, can't stop fingerboarding. 'Cause I live fingerboarding. 'Cause I live fingerboarding. 'Cause I live fingerboarding. 'Cause I live fingerboarding. Lot of heads to suck up by myself.